Hi, I'm looking at a few things concerning Fukushima. Now, this is a picture I recorded when it was morning in Japan, and this just shows that number 4, they put this cap over number 3, this tomb, whatever. They say they're going to pick all the fuel rods out of 3, so that's really, yeah, I don't believe them, but whatever. So I think you can see 2 there. Not sure about that. But here's from the other side, right? Here's 3, number 4, number 3, right? So then you go to the other side. When you click this, it goes back and forth. So here's 2, right? Didn't blow up. Well, the outer shell of the building is still there. And then here's 1, right? Uncovered. This is supposed to be a live camera. July 1st, 2018, at this time, this second. So this is uncovered. That's what this live camera shows me. Right? So remember that. That's pretty important. Now the blob, it eats you alive because it's radiation, and all these nuclear plants all over the world. Except you can't run from radiation. Now, last time I talked about this, I said it was sprayed with salt water and it killed it, but no. I saw the movie the other day, and they dropped the blob in the Arctic because cold is what stops it. Well, guess what? The Arctic's melting, so the blob's coming back, gonna get us. Now this is where I go to Bing for all these pictures. So remember, number 1 was uncovered in the live picture, right? So these are old pictures. Here it's covered. That's number 1, it's covered. Here's number 1, it's covered. So number 1 is covered, but the live cam shows it not covered. So it's just a continuous lie with these people. TEPCO caused the problem and they're in charge of fixing it. Yeah, good luck. So here's a wave that came in. This is probably one of the waves that came in, or the big one, I'm not sure. But anyway, you can see the land cut. See how the land's cut out? So this is built down close to water, so you can make more money somehow. Because you spend like less electricity pulling the water up to cool the reactors, I guess. I mean, I have no idea what the reasoning is, but it's insane, obviously. And there's what, 500 of these around the world, all next to water, but a lot of them are rivers. So here it is. You can see where the land was cut away. See this? That's construction stuff. So they cut the land away to build this closer to the water, so when the wave comes in, it can wipe everything out and kill the Pacific Ocean. So I guess the reactor rods, the control rods came in from the bottom. So this, if the power goes down, supposedly the backup generators will kick in, which they didn't, because they built everything close to the water. So now once you have no cooling, you have no circulation of water. So they say, oh, we'll just insert these control rods. But the problem is there's a couple weeks of residual heat in here that you have to keep the water flowing by it. If you don't, it melts, which it did. So then all these carbon control rods just turn into more radioactive material that burns up and goes in the air. And again, with all these holes in the bottom where all these control rods go in and out, where do you think, why was it such a hard time for the melted fuel to get out? There's a bunch of holes in this thing. There's holes in the bottom all over the place. So why is it so surprising? I don't know. I just like number 4's cap. Shows how big everything is. This is number 3. It's in color. It seems like a lot of stuff is in black and white, so I just picked this one. So this one had 2 explosions because this side of the building's gone and that other side of the building's gone. So it wasn't a hydrogen explosion. I mean, there might have been a hydrogen explosion that started some of this stuff, but that is way too much energy for a hydrogen explosion. That's not true now. About in 2000, Japan and TEPCO and GE had all these plans to make all these robots in case there was ever an accident. But they canceled all the plans, said, oh, we'll never need them. No, we don't need them because they're too cheap. They don't care, and they just want to make money so they can go on their next vacation. Because they pointed this out. They said, look at our advanced control room. This is from 1972, and look at these. We have analog dials that move up and down, and these lights turn on and off, and we have buttons to push. And they argued it was more. No, I'm kidding. It looks a little bit more advanced than the bridge on the Enterprise from the 60s series, but that's about it. But nothing will ever happen. Here's one again. Look, it's covered. No, the live camera says it's not. See, this is covered even before they put the dome on 3. So look at how long it's been covered. And they show live pictures of it with no cover. Because they're liars. And this, I guess this can just be oil from pumps, I guess, but it's just a weird, I don't think of much oil there. If that was some other radioactive thing, not sure. I'm not sure. Now, radiation, you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't feel it, you can't hear it, right? So how does anybody think they're safe from these assassins? I don't know. But thyroid cancer is caused by radiation. Children most at risk. So there's all kinds of children dying in Japan from this, and eventually all around the world, because when's the next plant going to blow up? I don't know, but it's going to happen if we live long enough. So what does radiation do? It destroys your DNA. Little rockets going through there, breaking your DNA apart. So when you're forming, you don't form like the DNA wants, you form like the DNA that you have left after it's been radiated. So you can see this rabbit is missing an ear. That can happen to humans. It can happen to any animal living. Pacific Ocean's dying, everything's starving. This frog's got 4 legs. That can happen to a human, no problem. I mean, we're just organic creatures. So here's the rabbit. Here's a fish with a few mouths, which I found some pictures on here of humans, and I just didn't want to show them. But if you search around this site enough, you can find them. So this is a joke, but you try and keep your sense of humor through all this is always a good point. Now, I was watching Organic Slant, and he had a really good point about how these radiation networks pick up higher radiations when it rains on them, which makes sense in that the water cycle goes from land to ocean, right? Land to ocean, ocean to land. It just big cycle. So as this plant continues to pollute the Pacific for the next 100 years, it's going to be everywhere on Earth. There's no way anyone can get away from it. And it's just insane, these nuclear assassins. So this was not the best example, but you can see there's radiation in various spots as it cycles through. Oh, okay, here you go. Here's a bunch of areas in Texas that got radiation readings. And here, look at the rain. The rain is all right there. So it's a good correlation from Organic Slant, and I think he's right. So that's one thing I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm not sure.